Hello and welcome back. It's puzzle time with Sudoku Sleuth, and today it's a bit of a memorial of a puzzle. And if you're not living in the UK, and I'll probably explain this as I reveal what the puzzle is, but it's also a little bit refreshing having not spent the last half an hour or an hour working on the artwork for today's thumbnail, because what we actually have is a photo of the Sycamore Gap Tree, which is what this puzzle is a tribute to. Now, if you're not familiar with the story, now the Sycamore Gap Tree, which you can see very picturesque in this particular photo, I want to make sure that I give credit for the person that took the photo, and pardon me for not having that already ready, is Clément Proust, a French Canadian or a Frenchman living in Canada, who's a photographer who's taken a photo of this and generously contributed to Wikipedia. Now, this particular tree just happens to live near Hadrian's Wall here in the UK, and it was essentially kind of a centerpiece of the Robin Hood movie back in the 90s, where I imagine Robin Hood and his gang used to gather around this particular tree. Very picturesque, and it was unfortunately felled by, let's call it a mischievous youth, who was then promptly arrested because he did this on, I think it's a national park, what it is, clearly outlawing the ability for people to go around and just, chop down trees whenever they want. Let's see what this story continues to unveil, I guess, in the days to come. Days, weeks, it's been a while. So, enough of that. Let's take a look at the puzzle. So, Sycamore Gap Tree by Flinty, and made in honor of the Sycamore Gap Tree that was felled on the 28th of September 2023. Well, we've got tons of things in here. I imagine that's sort of the blue sky in there, maybe a cloud with the Kropki Dots, the sun with a cloud sort of hovering over it. In the UK, there's probably a lot more clouds than what is shown in here, and a lot less blue of a sky. Then you've got the outline of a tree here in brown. I imagine that's the hills in green. So it's a very picturesque, not just setting and scene, but puzzle as well. Now, fantastic, Flinty. I'm looking forward to it. And certainly with all the colors and all the drawings to make this happen, there is no shortage of rules. I really struggle to try and fit all of this on one screen. And I hope it's going to be legible for you, but if not, always in the description down below, you've got all the details as usual. So let's take a look at the rule sets. We've got normal Sudoku rules apply, so that means the digits 1 to 9 in every row, in every column, and every 3x3 box, fairly standard. Arrows. The value of digits along an arrow must sum to the value of the digit in the corresponding circle. So I'm sort of expecting this is one arrow, and the sum of these is going to add up to this circle. This is another arrow adding up to the same sum, and this is another arrow, and this is another arrow. So we've got 4 arrows that somehow all add up to the same value. That's the way I'm interpreting it, and I'm hoping I'm interpreting correctly. Because, having all of these being a single arrow, for example, is clearly nonsense. There's no way this is going to fit in a single digit. So, region sum lines, the blue line must have an equal sum within each region it passes through. So what that means is, essentially, these 3 cells will sum up to a value, could be a 2-digit value here, but it has to be the same sum as these 3 digits, and it has to be the same sum as these 2 digits. And I say it could be 2 digits, it's almost certainly 2 digits, because we're already starting off with a couple of digits that add up to 10. So whatever this is going to get us over 10. So it's not going to be a single digit sum. We've got yellow circle must be an odd digit, so the sun here must be an odd digit. So that's 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. German whispers. So adjacent digits along a green line must differ by at least 5. So let's use the 2 that's given in here. This digit, which is adjacent to it on the same line, must be 5 or more away. So that could be 7, that could be 8, that could be 9. It couldn't be 5, it couldn't be 4, because that's not 5 or more away. And what you'll find is essentially you're oscillating between a low digit such as a 1, 2, 3, or 4, a high digit such as 6, 7, 8, or 9. Notice in my list I did not include a 5. If you try and find a digit that is 5 or more away from it, you will struggle from the pool of digits 1 to 9. Kropki dots. Cells separated by a white dot are consecutive in value, and cells separated by a black dot have values in a 2-to-1 ratio. Not all dots are given. So let's try, for example, over here a 2. That's a terrible one because it's already in the column. But if that's a 2, to be 2-to-1 away is either a 1, 1 times 2 is 2, or it could be a 4, 2 times 2 is 4. Now, the same idea over here, if this is a 2 with a white Kropki dot, it has to be 1 digit away from it, it has to be consecutive. So this would either be a 1, and then 1 and 1 is 2, or it's a 3, 2 and 1 is 3. We're not done with the rules. One more to go. Thermometers. Digits along a thermometer must increase starting at the bulb end. So we've got, I'm going to say 1 thermometer, 2 thermometers really. We've got a bulb here in the middle, unusually, and a thermometer that goes up in 2 ways. So let me pick a digit, for example. If this is a 3, this has to be higher than 3. That could be a 4. And it would have to be higher again. Actually, let me pick a different digit. 6, let's say. This would have to be higher than 6. And so on and so forth. So, no shortage of rules. And actually, quite a few digits to start, which is unusual for us because we're very much used to having to solve puzzles with 0 digits in the grid. So, another refreshing thing for today, we have 5 digits to help us get started. Now, if you feel like honoring the tree, link is in the description down below if you want to play along. And with that said, let me restart the clock and see how I get on. So, I'm going to definitely start in this arrow. That's just a lot of cells for it not to add up to some sort of maximum value. So the absolute minimum I can make this would be 1, 2, and 3 in here, which is already at 6. And then 1 in here, 1 in there. So this is a minimum of 8. Feels much more likely that it's a 9. But we will see about that. If that's 1, 2, and 3, that's 6. If that was 1, that's fine. And that's... So whatever this is, it's the sum of these 2 values, which is either a double 1 or a 1, 2, because there's only 1 degree of freedom. So this is from 2 or 3. We know what it is because we've got a 2 in the column. That's a 3, meaning this is a 1, 2 pair. Well, that's not the 2. That's the 1. That's the 2. This is 1, 2, and 3. That's the 9. Love it when we can actually place some digits in under a minute in the puzzle. Not frequently that we're able to do so. Right, so this is 6. For a second then I thought I broke the puzzle because I was thinking 6 and therefore these 2 must add up to 3 each. But that's not true. I've got this part of the branch. I shouldn't include this cell. So these are 9, whatever these are. And these are the same sum. So if you think about it, this could be 1, 2, meaning this would be 3, and each of these would have to add up to 6. I think that's totally achievable. If this is 1, 3, as in 4, these would have to both add up to 5, which would need to be 2, 3, and 1, 4. And if I show you this, you'll see immediately the problem with that. What digit would I be left with to place in here? So this is not going to add up to 5. Sorry, I should say this is not going to add up to 4 with a remainder of 5. And I'm going to say this is certainly not going to add up to 3. Sorry, so it's 3, 4. This is certainly not going to add up to 5 because then I'd have to have 4s in here, and there's only one way of getting to a 4, which is 1 and 3 in 2 cells, and would end up with so many 1, 3s that we'd lose count at this point. So I'm absolutely confident this is a 1, 2. This is a 3, And we have between us essentially 1, 2, and 4. Essentially, these need to add up to 6, each of them. Neither of these are 1, 2. We've already pencil marked them in the center. Excuse me, 4 5s. I don't know why what I did there. So it's 1, 2, 4, 5. Therefore, these are not 4s. This is from 1 and 2. This one gives us the order. That's the 2. That's the 4. That's the 5. That's the 1. We're on a roll today. 1, 2, and 3 being gone from this thermometer means that it's already at a minimum of 4. That's relatively high. 4, 5, 6, 7. Enough to be interesting. Not quite enough in my opinion. To look at it next, maybe there are other things I should be paying attention to first. Let's have a look at this German whispers line. Helpfully, we actually know which digits are high and which digits are low. Let's have a think about that for a second. So this is not 2, not 3, not 4. This is a 1, which unfortunately means it could be basically anything in here. It could be 6, 7, 8, or 9. This is from 7, 8, 9. Neither of these can actually be 6 because we've already placed the 1. The 6 and the 4, but the 6 at the moment, because that's what we're looking at, has to be adjacent to a 1. It's the only low digit that's 5 away or more. So neither of these can be 6, because if I put a 1 in here, I'm replicating it in the box. So these are 7, 8, 9s, and therefore this has to be very low to be able to be next to a 7, 8, and 9. It's not 1, it's 2. That's 1, that's 2. This is going unexpectedly well. This can now only be 3. We've got 1 and 2 looking at this. This would be from 3 or 4. If it's 4, both of these would have to be a 9 breaking the puzzle. As it is, it's already quite tough. That's the 8, that's the 9. These are the only 2 digits that can be adjacent to the 3. We've got an 8 looking in here. We've got a 9 looking in there. Is that interesting enough now to actually take a look at this 4, 4, 6, because we've got a 5, 7, 8, maybe this is the next spot now. Yeah. Right, minimum of 4, minimum of 4, minimum of 6, minimum of 7, minimum of 8. So 7, 8, 9, 7, 8, 6, 7, 5, 6. Can it even be a 6? Let's have a look at this side. So minimum of 5, minimum of 6, minimum of 7. Can't be an 8, can be a 9. Could be a 7, but can't be any higher because we've got 8 and 9 in the column. Can only be a 6 as the maximum. 6 is not allowed in here either. So this is fairly restricted. Bit of Sudoku, 2 3s looking down here. That's got to be it. I now know that there's definitely an 8 in here. Definitely an 8 in there, because this is a 7, 8, 9 triplet, and that's not an 8. So no 8s. I mean, this is still could be an 8, but much more likely it's down here. This could be also interesting, actually, now. So no 2. Oh, there you go. We know what this is. So the reason I'm saying that is because this can't be a 2. It's not going to be 1 or 1, 2. It can't be a 4 because 2 is not available, and actually 8 is not available. So this is 3, 6, and this is the only way we can do it. We've done 3s. We've done a lot of 3s at this point. It'd be nice to know what this is. Again, 3s. That's a 3. That's a 3. Just looking at these, eliminating all these options, this is the only 3 that's available. We now know the sum line is 13. 10, 13. Not too many ways of doing 13 in 2 cells, but it's enough ways that I'm not going to explore that next. Let's keep thinking about options. Have I done? Yeah, that's a 3. I think that's all the 3's done. Yeah. Ones, you can see that we've got a 1 down here. If that's a 1, that's a 2, but that's already in the row. So that's the 1. Ones, that's the other 1. So that's the corner ones. I mean, I'm going to exclude it from here because we know that sums up to 13. Still 3 cells. I don't know if I want to pencil mark that. But actually, we've got, yeah, we can place the 1 in this box. And therefore, I'm pretty sure, yeah, we can restrict it in here. Looks like we need to do a bit of Sudoku, so carry on. 3 can be next to a 2 or 4, which I'll pencil mark in here, which is unfortunate because I don't actually know where the 2 is in this box. 2's, it's down here, it's not there, that's a 2. I don't know if this corner pencil marking is getting me anywhere, if I'm honest, but I'll just carry on for a bit longer. 4's we don't have many of. 5's we don't have many of. 9's we do. That's got to be a 9 now. Not very helpful because, you know, it's not really restricting anything on the thermal. We do know that there is a 9 in here. Where else? That's 9, that's an 8. So these are not 9's. That's the 9. These are not 9's. I mean, it's in that row, but again, not very helpful. 8, we've got an 8 in here. 8, eliminating all of these. I don't know, I'm not enjoying this sort of style where I'm jumping around, trying to spot kind of the next digit. But it feels like necessary part of the solve, just to sort of eliminate and reduce some of the numbers of options that we have here. We already did a bit of 8, haven't we? So now we know that 8 is in here as well. In fact, 8 is between these 2 cells because we've got this corner pencil mark. 8 is in here. I mean, that was there for a while. Therefore, that's not an 8. That's another 7, 9. That's the 8. Move that corner pencil mark. Clearly not there. These are 8's. Requiring 8's to be on here. Now, something that just occurred to me is there's no way 8 and 9 are both on this region sum line because the sum is 13. So this is 8 or 9. I'm actually going to remove some of these corner pencil marks. They're a bit of a distraction. And the fact that there is an 8 or 9 on here, I actually know that what this region sum line is now. So this is a 1. These need to add up to 12. That's either 9, 3, not available because the 3 is already used, or 4, 8. So it is 4, 8. That's not an 8. That's the 8. That's not an 8 either. That's the 8. Lovely. This is from 4, 5, 6, or 7. That's too many options. I'm not going to pencil mark that. However, what I can do, if I think about it, no, I was going to say it's this cell, but that's not true. These 2 cells can still be the same, actually. It's a bit unfortunate. Right, we've got a 4 looking down here. That's a 5. That removes all the ambiguity. That's a 5. Well, it removes ambiguity from this side. This is a 7 now. This is a 4. That's an 8. That's a 9. That's not the 8. That's the 8. That's the 1. That's not the 1. That's the 1. We are flying now. What do we have in here? We need a 4 and 6. 6 is here because of this 6. That's the 4. What do we need in here now? We need a 5 and 4. Can't disambiguate those, I don't believe. That's a 7 though. And these are from 2 and 5. There's a 4 in here looking down there. That's a 2. That's 7 or 9. Actually, not confirmed what it is yet. 7, 9 pair. We still need a 4, 5, and 6 by the looks of things. That's the 6. These are 4 5s. Nope, that's a 5. That's a 4. Should know what this is. That's a 7. I need 5 and 6. That's the 5 and the 6. 4s and 5s. That's a 9. I mean, I should have immediately filled that in when I put the 8, but ho-hum. What do I have that's left in here? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. We need 5, 6, and 7. We know that the 6 is in here. That's the 6. That's the 7. That's the 5. What do I need in there? So we've got, okay, lots of consecutive digits. That's the 4. And we've got 5, 6, 7. We've got a 6 again in here. They're both 5 7s. That's the 5, that's the 7. Because of this 7, we know what this is. 6. We also know what this is. 4, no. Am I not seeing it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Shockingly, 7, 9 still not resolved. 2, 5. Right, so we need to figure out what this sums to. This is summing up to 13. It's not 5, 8. It's not 6, 7. It's 9, 4. And we know the order of this. That's the 9, that's the 4, that's the 7, that's the 9, 9. And if that's the 7, we can finish this off now. That's the 3, not 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 6, and if I've not made any mistakes, and I seem to be doing a lot of typos, 9, and we're done. Very topical puzzle, I'm going to say. Very topical puzzle. I loved the break-in. I think I immensely enjoyed the break-in, you know, having to figure out what these are. This too, helpfully sort of pointing you in the right direction. So, I mean, that's me being very particular, and apologies, Flinty. I loved all of this. I loved all the variant parts of the puzzle, and essentially using the German whispers lines. The region sum line sort of came to its own towards the end as well. But the rest of it felt like we're just sort of hunting around the grid, looking for kind of normal Sudoku. And that could be just me, because I spend all of my time playing variants, not being very good or structured about how I go about doing Sudoku. That felt more like a bit of a hunt for me. Maybe that's kind of another tribute back to Robin Hood. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's puzzle. And I hope you enjoyed paying a bit of tribute for this lovely Sycamore Gap Tree. They say that there will something can potentially grow in the stump that's left there. We'll see. See you back for the next video. Bye for now.